I, 34 female, was with Liam, 35 male, for over a decade, had 2 children with him, and we broke up when I learned he was cheating on me with Ella, 30 female. Ella was pregnant when I learned about their affair, and the 2 of them were very smug about the fact that they were going to start a family with my kids, who were young enough at the time to see Ella as a second mom in their lives potentially. Ella was downright nasty, saying she could provide for them so much better because her parents were wealthy and she'd be the #1 mom in no time. We ended up getting shared custody of our children, and the schedule was a week on, a week off. X and I had to meet at a neutral location per our custody order to reduce conflict and any problems with exchanging our children. The judge also ruled that Ella could not be present for exchanges, giving her alienating language toward me that was not totally hidden from mine and Liam's children. My ex and Ella were shocked when her family didn't support them after realizing that she had helped him cheat and had gotten pregnant with someone who had a family. So they ended up struggling. At the same time, I was doing better than ever after making a career shift I had wanted to do for a while before. They, of course, realized over time. This was, I think, just after they had their daughter and around the time that they got married. Then the name I heard for their daughter was suddenly changed to my name. They started being super kiss butt with me and saying my kids deserved one family unit and how their daughter was named after me, was my kid's little sister, and she needed someone to help support her and give her the life her siblings have, etc. I told them they were bat crap crazy and I was not their daughter's anything. They had 2 more girls since then, and apparently they're telling those girls that I'm their aunt and or their other mom, hence the older of the 3 being named after me. The oldest is always trying to seek me out. My ex brings her during the exchanges with our kids, and she rushes out of the car with my kids. They've told me how uncomfortable it makes them because they aren't allowed to correct it. I told my ex he needed to say something. I said the same thing to Ella, but she didn't. A few days ago, their oldest sought me out again and asked if she could stay when my kids stay with me, and she's so glad I'm her aunt and her other mom. I told her I wasn't. I said it kindly, but I was also firm that I was not her aunt or her mom. She got upset and ran back to her parents, and then I got dumped on by Ella for breaking her daughter's heart. She said that she had only tried to be friendly and make the best of the family situation for the kids, and I was the idiot. I feel kind of bad because the little girl was devastated. At the same time, I don't have any interest in being part of those 3 girls' lives in any kind of way, except for when I see them for my kids. Am I the idiot? It seems Ella's parents have disowned her for the scandal. That's why she's struggling. And I guess that's no surprise. Karma slapped her and your ex in the face really hard. That's why they're trying to kiss your butt. Definitely not the idiot. OP, you may need to go back to court to stop this. Your ex has no right to bring this girl to the exchange, making your children uncomfortable. Ex and affair partner deserve each other. Poor kids, though. She's playing the long game of manipulation and hoping you'll just get worn out and go along with it. I feel sorry for the kid who's obviously been told a pack of lies. That must hurt a lot. But that's got nothing to do with you. Your ex should be stepping up here too. He started this crazy crap. It's his daughter. Whoa, just wow. Yeah, to be honest, OP, I think what you did was the kindest thing in the long run. That kid needed to know that she's not going to have a relationship with you. And to be quite honest, her parents have used her to force a relationship with you to get more money, or whatever they're after. I've never heard of someone changing the name of their child after it's born. That's just weird. These people are very strange, honestly. I mean this in the nicest way, when I say I'm glad you're no longer with your ex. He's obviously got issues alongside his new wife with the way that they're acting. The insanity of some people continues to astound me. So before people roll their eyes and cringe and scream, seeing the word Christmas already, please hear me out, LOL. I'm a nearly adult female. I still live with my parents and my 2 brothers, a teen and a young teen. My mom has 2 older kids, a half-brother 29 and a half-sister 27. Mom divorced their dad right after her pregnancy with the youngest was up. They had broken up before Mom even gave birth to their daughter. But things were never easy. She met my dad 2 years post-divorce and married him after 3 years together. They had us, and all should have been fine, if not good. But their dad was not having my dad or me and my brothers be important to his and my mom's kids, and he used all kinds of parental alienation he could. It was messy. Mom was awarded full custody after a while, but then he sued again, and they wanted to return once they were teenagers. During all this, Mom had them in therapy, family therapy. They were awful to be around. They didn't treat us well, and they did not treat Dad good. They would treat us like crap. They called us names and told us they wish we had never been born, or that their dad would come and make us pay for being born. Crap like that was so common, and then they were gone. They were mostly with their dad. Then we started seeing them more a few years ago, but they still didn't like us. Neither did their spouses. My half-sister has 2 kids, and we're not allowed to interact with her kids. She tells her kids my brothers and I are mistakes that Grandma made, and that my dad is ignored by them entirely. Every Christmas they spend time with us, and it's awful. My brothers and I hate it. My dad hates it, but we have to deal with it for Mom. Dad does so willingly. The rest of us, not so much. Last Christmas was the worst one yet. Mom's son is expecting a baby with his wife, and all the while they were celebrating, we were ignored. And then I heard her kids talk about us being so annoying and in their faces simply for being present. Half-sister's husband made one joke to me the whole time, saying they just have to make their Christmas wish that none of us would be there and their family could be together next year. That was all he said to me the whole time. I'm just so done. Mom will never let them go. Dad will never want to see her sad. I don't want to deal with it. So I told them I was done with family Christmas after they started talking about it a few weeks ago, that I will not be with them celebrating. I might be just underage, but they cannot expect me to spend the rest of my holidays being treated like I was a mistake and shouldn't be here because I was born, which is not something I can control. Mom was so upset. Then she told me I had no say. So I told them I would stay in my room, but I was not going to hang out with people who despise me and literally wish us all dead, because we all know it's what they do. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot at all. And it's disgusting that your mother lets her other children behave that way. Your mom should have been protecting you. Really, she should have nipped this in the bud years ago. But if she was aware of their actions and did nothing to stop it, that's as good as implicit permission for cruel kids. Now they're adults and still acting like spiteful, nasty kids. If you have the means and ways to protect yourself from that, especially since they seem incapable, then go for it. Your mom may never let them go, and your dad may not want to see her upset, but they seem to have missed the point that they have lost you and made you upset, and you're still children who deserve protection from their parents. Leave, stand up for yourself, hide, refuse to interact, whatever it takes. But yes, make it clear you are no longer part of this sanctioned abuse. Whatever it takes to make your parents realize they've subjected you to torment for long enough and are nearly out of time to fix it. Edit. That's not a tense Christmas. That's an abusive environment, and you do have a choice. I wonder what Mom would say when you go no contact because of the treatment of her older children. My husband asked if I wanted to go to Saint-Tropez with the kids because his family was going. I said no because I'm 6 months pregnant and I had complications early on, and I'm worried the same will happen again, which would be even more terrifying while stuck on a boat away from home. He tried to convince me nothing would happen and I was being overcautious, but I wouldn't change my mind, so he seemed to give up. He went to Saint-Tropez with the kids without telling me they were going and called me once they arrived to persuade me I had to come since the kids were already there. I was so angry at him and worried about the kids that my first instinct was to go immediately, but as I was packing I changed my mind. I told him I wasn't coming and that he was horrible for taking the kids behind my back, but I hoped it was worth it for him. He continued to try to persuade me for a few days, and he got upset that I wouldn't come even after my youngest bawled his eyes out because he missed me. He ended up coming home yesterday without the kids because my sister made it seem like I was unwell because of what he did. We had an argument because I still had a lot of pent-up anger from when he originally took the kids. He's upset at me for not joining them and thinks I'm using the pregnancy as an excuse, since he said I would have just as good medical care in Saint-Tropez as at home if I needed it. He kept bringing up how our youngest had cried for me and I had ignored him. Am I the idiot? He did what? Is he normally that controlling? Who thinks my pregnant wife, who has health concerns, won't do what I want? So I'll take the kids without telling her and manipulate her into doing what I want. You picked a doozy for a spouse, OP. I'd be rethinking my life choices if I were you. Not the idiot. He tried to use children as a bargaining chip. They aren't his tools to make you do what he wants you to do. But are the kids still there without either of you? Your youngest was already crying without you. I can't imagine how frightened they are without their dad as well. Poor kids. Your husband put them through quite an ordeal, possibly even something traumatic, just because he wanted to force you to come on a vacation. Oh my God, he left the kids with your in-laws? He did something childish because he didn't get his way and wants to blame you because it made the kiddo cry? Geez, a real winner he is. This is a therapy and divorce type situation. What he did was abusive. Call a lawyer today and get their advice about the whole situation. And if I were you, I would either be sending someone to retrieve my children or having the in-laws return them immediately. No matter how safe or how much fun they're having, you didn't give permission for them to travel out of the country or to travel alone with your in-laws. The children are also traveling without anyone permitted to make medical decisions in case of an infection or a broken limb or worse. You should also tell your doctor what has happened and is still happening. The effects of this on your body are something they need to monitor. Don't downplay this, with them or with yourself. Lawyer today, emergency therapy today or tomorrow. I'm 61, female, and I have 2 children, 41 male and 39 female. My children are going through a little spat over money my son loaned my daughter over 10 years ago. It's really tearing my family apart, and I just want to see what people have to say. My son gave my daughter $20,000 to start a business 10 years ago, and I was happy when he did it because it was unexpected and nice. Now here's where the problem occurs. She never started the business, and now every Thanksgiving, my son asks my daughter if she's going to pay him back, and it's getting annoying because people want to eat. My daughter complains about it, saying she'll pay him back and then drops it. My daughter's fiance says she's tired of the harassment over the money. My daughter had a bachelorette party, and everything was going swell. We ordered male dancers, ate cheesecake, and just had fun. The next day we woke up because we heard knocking, and it was a guy saying, "You've been served," because my son is suing my daughter over the money. I called my son and called him a disappointment. My son said, "Look here, it's been 10 years. If she's not trying to pay back, then I'm taking her skinny butt to court." I'm torn. Am I the idiot? Just to be clear, he gave her $20,000 10 years ago to start a business, which she never did. And you're unhappy because he brings it up every Thanksgiving, which has been 10 Thanksgivings, right? And instead of telling your daughter to start repaying that money, you get upset because people want to eat? And now she won't pay him back, but she will pay for a bachelorette party with multiple dancers and cheesecake. I'm extremely confused as to how you consider him a disappointment for taking action in this matter. You are the idiot. We all know why your daughter's not paying him back. You join her in complaining about your son's behavior. You want him to drop it and find this an inconvenience. It doesn't bother you that your daughter's a thief. And now that he's doing the right thing and getting the money, you double down in your complaints about him. Then you tell him that he's a disappointment? You are a disappointment as a mom. Wow, your judgment and opinions are really skewed and off. I feel sorry for your son. He was kind and nice, and both his sister and his mom treated him badly. Wow. Your daughter's your golden child, and you're okay with her lying to your son about the intentions of the money she borrowed from your son. That's not okay. Your son is well within his rights to get his money back, and if I were him, I'd include interest. It's been 10 years. I am estranged from my sister. She and I used to have the same friend circle growing up, and she was good friends with my then best friend. But when I was 16, My then best friend was with a guy who ended up with a crush on me. I had no idea. Suddenly she turned into a bully, and she bullied me horrifically, to the point I was moved after only 2 months into a school year because she had leaked personal stuff about me to the whole school. This was stuff she knew because she was meant to be my best friend, and she blasted it everywhere. My sister stayed friends with this girl despite all that. Not only that, but when I told her it upset me, she told me I was being a controlling brat for thinking I could ask her to dump a friend. That was when I decided I had lost 2 people. First, my parents tried to keep my sister away from my former best friend, but she insisted that she be allowed to have whatever friends she wanted. That friendship lasted several more years before they stopped being friends, but it was too much by then. She even brought this girl to stuff she knew I would be at, under the guise of being allowed to bring friends. It was traumatic for me, and over that time I grew to hate my sister for subjecting me to that. She attempted to apologize a couple of years ago, but I didn't want to hear it. Now I'm engaged, and I warned my parents that my sister wasn't getting an invite. My brothers told me our parents seemed to mention my sister in speeches they were preparing, and they wanted to give me a heads up, since they didn't seem to want to listen to them. When I brought it to my parents, they said they couldn't pretend she didn't exist, since most people know I have a sister. I told her that those people also know that we no longer talk. I told them I didn't want them to mention her at my wedding. They told me I was being unfair, especially when she attempted to apologize, but I stopped her. We're now not on the best of terms. They think I'm unfair. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. If your parents can't celebrate your day without bringing up your estranged sister, maybe they shouldn't go either. Your wedding is not about her, them, or whatever fantasies they have of forcing a reconciliation. Parents don't necessarily have to give a speech. It is typically just the best man and maid of honor who give a toast. None of the weddings I attended had either sets of parents of the bride and groom give a speech or a toast, but I'm no expert on these things. I don't know why a speech or toast at your wedding would even mention your sister anyways. It should be about love, your relationship, and congratulations on your newest milestone together, etc. If I were you, just do not let your parents be allowed to give a speech to prevent any potential drama. Agree. Revoke their privilege to give a speech. It's your wedding, not a Dr. Phil episode. My ex was a notorious attention seeker. At my daughter's wedding, the DJ was told to keep the microphone away from my ex, and he did. The ex was quite disappointed. Hope your wedding goes well.